This is Gina Paulhus, and I'm the owner of Homebody's in-home fitness training. I am very excited to bring you a home workout designed to target those trouble spots that we all suffer from. I challenge you to try at least a couple of the exercises today at home while you watch. As always, make sure to get your doctor's okay before beginning any exercise program. Today we welcome Heidi Nicholson on the show. Heidi is the owner of Straddle. She is ready to give you a good core workout today by demonstrating all the different exercises that we're about to do. Be sure to stay tuned until the end, because at that time we're going to give you some special tips on how protein can be the secret to your weight loss success that you've been searching for. You ready to get started today?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Let's cut right to it. So as I was saying, Heidi is the owner of a bridal salon. She deals with a lot of brides that come in. And what are some concerns that they tend to have about their whole situation with the gown thing?
It's a good question. Every bride wants to lose weight. Every bride hates her arms. Every bride has to lose the last 10 pounds before she wears that wedding gown. So it's a constant theme.
Okay, so we're going to do some things that are just good for general fitness, but also those special concerns that the brides are going to have.
Perfect.
So the first thing we're going to try is dips off the chair with one leg lifted. So this is a little bit of a spin on the traditional dip that you can see people doing. So what we're going to do here is you put your hands right on the edge of a chair, you lift one of your legs up, you bend your arms as much as you can, push them to straight, bend, push them to straight. So we're going to let Heidi give that a shot.
And she makes it look so easy. We'll see.
And about halfway through the set, I'm going to instruct her to switch which leg is lifted. How does it feel?
Feels all right.
Good. You could probably do about 50 of these, right?
Oh, yeah.
You can switch legs. Very good. Yep, keep going. And do a couple more, Heidi. Very good. So where do you feel that one?
Right in my upper arms.
Perfect.
Here.
And what about the leg that you're lifting? The one in the front, do you feel it there too?
Definitely felt it a little bit there.
A very common situation you'll see is that people, when they lift their front leg, they don't keep it straight. You really want to make sure that you do that, because that's the only way you're going to tone the front of your thighs, which even though the wedding gown is covering that up, there's going to be a point when someone's going to see that, right? so we need to make sure that area looks really good. Okay, so we're going to go to squatting side step with the band. Now, I'm doing this with a special band. It's a loop. These are very inexpensive. They're around $3 or $4. Even if you don't have one, though, you can take a band that you might have, such as this, and tie it into a knot to form a loop. Or you can even just do it without the band. It's still pretty difficult even without the band. So we're going to put this around our knees, just below your kneecaps. Your hands go on your hips. You want to try to keep about the same distance between your feet at all times as you're stepping. Try to keep the toes pointing straight forward. Once you get to the end of a certain direction, you start turning backwards to go the way that you came from. Okay? And this one is really good for the hips, which is another area that we all want to make sure is nice and trim. So Heidi, I'm going to have you start right on the edge of the blue mat.
Okay.
And once you get to the other side, you can go back.
All right.
Yeah, hands on your hips, perfect. Try to stick your hips back even more, like you're ready to sit in a chair. Good. And then just lift your chin and look up a little bit. Nice.
I'm supposed to smile while I do this?
I mean, smiling is good. That at least makes it look like we're having fun. Let's try to do 3. So that was 1 back and forth. I want you to do 2 and then 3. And she can probably tell you about the way it starts feeling after the first one, then the second one, and the third one, it really does start to burn.
Oh yeah, it's already started.
Okay. We're still gonna make you do 3 though.
All right. No easy workout.
Heidi is a tough cookie. She actually, when we first started working together, it was difficult for her to just run a minute at a time. She ended up completing a half marathon at a pretty successful pace, if I do say so myself.
Thank you.
So it just shows how far you can come if you just put in the work and believe what your trainer's saying, right?
You got it.
All right, so that's great. So that was 3. And your form was awesome, looked really good.
Thank you.
And it's kind of a little bit of a trick to just get in and out of the band. If you've never done it, I'm not kidding here, you probably want to sit down because you'll find yourself falling over if you try to do that. She's pretty good with all this, so she makes it look easy. Okay, so we're going to do a shoulder shrug. So this one is super, super good for the area right in the back behind the shoulder blades that all of these brides want to look really beautiful when they're wearing their gowns. So on your elbow, and then you want to let your shoulder blades sink down and press them up, sink down, press them up. Now you see a lot of people doing this with their hips. That's not really what we want to do with this. You want to keep the body very stiff and tight by squeezing all of your core muscles, meaning your abs, your glutes,
Okay.
and just trying to isolate that motion right between the shoulder blades. This is also a really good one if you ever have suffered from shoulder pain because it helps strengthen the muscles around the shoulder girdle. Not bad, Heidi, not bad at all. I'm gonna have you try to press your low back up a little bit more so your back is flatter, that's better.
It just feels a little awkward.
Yeah, I mean, I think almost all of these probably feel awkward in some way, right?
Yeah.
I want you now, Heidi, to drop down to your knees and show them the more beginner version of this one.
Okay.
Where you're on your knees, you can cross your feet in the air. So if that's too hard for you to keep these positions, you can always drop to your knees and do the same thing. Nice work. This also is good if you ever suffer from headaches because it helps strengthen and also stretch the muscles around your neck.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, I don't think I ever told you that one, huh? No. See, I don't always reveal all my secrets to my clients. Sometimes I make them watch my show to find out the full story. All right, Heidi, that's great. You can stop. Okay. Now we're gonna move down to the lower body. So this is a leg curl with hip extension. The heels are on the ball. So what differentiates this is a leg curl just back and forth. But we're gonna actually add a hip extension so that we get the glutes and the legs all together. So we're going to lift up, bend, straighten, down again. Lift up, bend, straighten, down. It might look like this one is easier to do because you get to actually rest in between, but I don't know if Heidi's tried this one. Have you ever tried this kind?
I don't think I have.
Yeah, because I think what she's gonna probably say, which is what I feel, when you actually have to go up and down between, it makes it more difficult. And you wouldn't think that because you get to stop in the middle. But yeah, so straighten and drop and lift. And so that's only two, and it's like you can already really feel those legs, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So I've been moving towards using this one more than the just the back and forth. And if it's too difficult, we just don't do quite as many. But Heidi's tough, like I said, so I'm sure she'll be able to do, I don't know, how much time do we have? A half an hour long show?
Not nice.
Just a little bit more with the locked out leg, Heidi. So lock those legs, lift, good. Perfect, just do one more just like that. Very good. All right, now we're going to go to something that's going to work on the waist. This is side plank up on the hand. So you want to try to stack your feet, lift one arm up, and just hold that position. And then once you're done, other side. A lot of people will fall out when they try it, and that's okay. You just want to get right back in and try again. I see your arms shaking there. That's good. Try to push your hips up further away, Heidi, from the floor. Yes. And keep breathing. Nice deep breaths. Head back a little bit more. We're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job.
All right.
Now we'll see how your other side looks. And actually, we're gonna spin you around so that you're facing front. It's easier for me to see your angles from back here.
Okay.
Yep. Nice. So this works really everything in your torso on that side. So for this one, it's going to be the right side, but it does work your arm and it works your thighs a little bit also. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Whew, that was great. We're gonna get a little bit more into the arms now, because of course that's one of the main areas. So go ahead and step on this band. It's bicep curls with the band, so I want you to step right in the middle. And you can go ahead right on the mat there. Yep, so just step on that. And have you move your palms forward and do the curls with the band. Perfect. So when you use bands, you tend to get a little bit more of a toning effect, whereas when you use dumbbells, you can tend towards a little bit more bulk. A lot of the brides want toned arms, but they don't want these big, giant Arnold Schwarzenegger biceps. So the band is a great compromise to still work the muscle without creating a lot of bulk.
I should keep one of these at the store.
Yeah. That's a good idea. We need to chat after this. Do 2 more of those. Try to keep your head pressed back even while you curl the weights, or I should say the band. Good work. Whew. The band is also great for traveling because you can throw it in your suitcase and there's a whole, I mean, we just had done that one today, but I can probably give you 10 different exercises easily that I'll use the band. In fact, we've been through this before, right?
Yes. Yep.
When my clients travel, they ask me, what can I do? I don't know if there's gonna be weights where I go, and we'll come up with a routine, and if you have really a spot on the floor and a band, you can get a lot done.
Yeah,
and that way you can try to minimize any of the damage that might happen while you go on your vacation. Which, I mean, you went on one last week, right?
Yeah.
Did you minimize?
I try to.
Okay.
I gotta be honest.
There was a little bit of monkeying around?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to go to the banana rockers next. I like to name a lot of the exercises after like foods and animals because people seem to be able to remember what the heck it is. I don't know why, it just seems to work. So this is how it looks. So this is the little bit more advanced version. You can also put your hands by your thighs, and if you need to, you can bend your legs and do the same thing with the legs bent. But at that point, it really doesn't look like a banana anymore, so I'd have to change the name. So we're gonna hope that Heidi can do the other types. So arms by the ears. Try to make your low back flat against the ground. Good. So what we're looking for is for her body to be almost like a seesaw, tip, 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 where it looks like it's all connected. And keep breathing, Heidi. Do 2 more of those. So this one gets your entire front. It's very good for flattening and toning the abs, which, I mean, who wouldn't want that, right?
Yeah, we all want that.
We all want that, right. Okay, so this is a really cool one. It's another ab one, but it also gets the inner thigh, and I mean, it seems like these areas are just never ending that we want to get. So your hands can go up above your head, or they can go by your hips. If they go by your hips, it is a little bit easier to do it. You want to tap the ball to the floor and lift it above, and you want to really squeeze the ball with your legs the whole time, which is going to get the inner thigh for you. This ball is pretty big. You can do it with any size, but I would say this is probably the larger of the sizes that you'd want to use. Nice. A lot of people wonder what size ball. They actually measure it by height, but for any given ball, the taller you are compared to the ball, it's easier. So if you get a ball that's on the small side, you're gonna get a more difficult workout for your height. So this ball is really for like a 6-foot person. Heidi is not 6 feet, let's just leave it at that. So the ball's a little almost on the big side for her, but we're gonna make do with what we have today. Last one. Good. So what part of your body did really feel that one?
Definitely my inner thighs.
Okay.
But I felt it in my abs too.
Okay, and did you feel it in your back at all?
A little bit, yep.
Okay, so we really don't want you to feel it in your low back. So I would suggest that you put your hands by your hips.
Okay.
That's gonna give your low back a little bit more support so that you don't feel it there.
Okay.
Because it can cause some problems if you have that sensation in your low back.
Okay.
So I know that you still do running even though you've been a little bit out of the competitive circuit. So are there any areas on your body that tend to get a little tight?
Definitely my legs.
Yeah. And anything else?
My back will a little bit if I've been running long distance.
Okay. Do you do any stretching regularly?
I do, I try to. Yes.
Okay, but sometimes when you're running out of time,
Yeah.
is that the thing that goes?
That is the thing that goes.
Okay, so we are going to try an IT band stretch first. Now, I usually have people do this they'll have a sort of railing to hold, or just like the edge of a staircase. We don't have that here, so I'm just gonna let Heidi hold my shoulder. What she's gonna do, go ahead and hold my shoulder. You're gonna grab your foot with your opposite hand.
So.
But I asked you to hold my shoulder, so that's kind of weird. Yeah, you're right. I was like, how does that work? Okay, we have enough arms. So that's good. So left leg can be bent, and then you grab it with the right.
Okay.
And then stand up. So you just hold, so usually you wouldn't need to look so dorky like we look right now. But if she can just grab onto anything, a wall, and she can do this. Now make sure your knees are side by side. You feel that in the leg?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when you grab with the opposite hand, it does emphasize a little bit different than when you grab with the same side. It's a little bit of a deeper stretch. Go ahead and switch, and I'll switch.
Okay. Definitely a deeper stretch.
Right. And it's nice to be able to do it standing up, because you don't always have the luxury of a nice mat to lie down on. If you're out for a run, you can just grab a tree and boom, you're stretching.
Perfect.
So I mean, we don't want to be lying on like the dirty ground, because that's just
Gross.
yeah. So that side actually looks a little bit better. Not quite as tight. Do you feel it just as much?
Yeah, but it definitely, I think you're right, it's not as tight.
Okay. Good. So you can let go of that. Okay. So we want to hold the stretches for about 20 to 30 seconds. If you need to loosen up before your run, you can do between 5 and 10 seconds of a stretch. You do longer than 10 seconds, it actually makes your muscles weaker.
Oh.
And it can increase your risk of injury. So 5 to 10 seconds before, but after, to create a change in the muscle and lengthen it, you want to hold it for at least 20 seconds. And if you're very, very tight, you should try to do that for even 2 or 3 sets of the same stretch.
Perfect.
So next we're going to move to the low back, which she also said sometimes is a little bit tight. So we're going to have one leg bent, one straight, and I want you to reach toward your foot. You can grab it, great, you just pull yourself down. If you can't grab your foot, no problem. You grab your shin or your knee or whatever you can grab, and you bend your arms and pull forward. So you think nose to shin, that's the direction that you're going.
Okay.
Yep. Well, she can grab her foot, not bad. And then you want to bend both elbows and make sure that your hands are even. A lot of times I'll see people with their dominant arm, they're gonna reach further and that twists your back. You don't want that. So she's really good about keeping those hands nice and even. Now try to bend those elbows even more. Good. You really have to pull. It's not gonna just happen on its own. Nice. And even put your head down too. So I said nose to shin, so that even the head has to be moving in that way. Perfect. You can switch now, Heidi. Nice. Yep. You don't want to force it. I mean, if it's really painful, don't go that far. But there's a tendency, especially when you're sitting on the floor, to let yourself relax and just kind of veg out there. Well, stretching is supposed to be an active activity, like you're doing something. You're not just sitting there slumped over, looking like you're working out. But we've all done it. Like you sit in the stretch and you're like, la la la, what are we gonna have for dinner tonight? Is my boyfriend home? And you just start like thinking about this stuff and you're not even trying to do what you're supposed to be doing, which is stretching. Head down a little more, good. Okay, now we're gonna put both legs out in the front. Same thing, start by grabbing your feet, bend your elbows down, get that head down. Nice, and just hold that. Try to make your big toes, or where they would be if you didn't have shoes on, touching each other. Yeah, and if that means you have to come up more, no problem. It's better to be up and make the toes touch than let the feet wing out.
Definitely feels different.
It gets a whole different set of muscles.
Yep.
When you have the toes touching. A lot of people think trainers are so fussy about form because we're just a bunch of control freaks, which admittedly we tend to be that, but there is actually a reason behind all of these nitpicky things that we say. We're not just doing it to torture you, even though it might seem like that.
Plead the fifth.
Okay, you can get out of that one. So did that feel like it helped loosen things up a little bit?
Definitely.
Awesome. Okay, so it is time for the listener question of the week, and this question is about protein. I know I'm supposed to eat a lot of protein if I'm working out and trying to lose weight, but I'm not sure how to go about getting enough protein during the day. Please help. Sound familiar?
Yep.
Yeah, so we started working together in 2007, I think, 2007. And it's like the first thing, I have my clients keep a food journal and I have them write down what they're eating. And it's like, I want to just like scream and say, this is crazy, I can't believe what you're eating, but I don't, I'm nice.
You are very nice.
I think there was a point when you had popcorn for dinner every day for, I don't know, a year. So needless to say, that didn't end well. Anyway, okay, getting off topic. So this is a common question. Many people think as long as they're just eating some chicken or fish at dinner time, they're getting enough protein. However, the truth is, the average person should be getting close to 1 gram of protein for every pound that they weigh. So then at that point, I'm just gonna tell you, how much do I weigh? You have to think about that. I weigh, I don't know, whatever it is, 150 pounds, the average adult, or something like that. So that's a lot of grams of protein. Now, I said 1 gram per pound, assuming that your goal is to become stronger and to be leaner or even lose weight altogether. So if you're happy with your body, you don't want to make any changes, you probably can get away with a little bit less. If you're an athlete that's working out a lot, if you want to drop weight or if you want to get stronger, you really need to get all that protein. So when you made the shift to eating more protein, what kinds of things did you notice changed for you?
I definitely noticed that I became stronger. I had a lot more endurance when I was running and training. I wasn't as hungry. I just felt better overall.
Okay.
I wasn't wanting to snack the second I had the chance.
So, and then like most people, there'll be a point when you'll let things go a little bit, just as life gets crazy. And did it feel like you lost those benefits when you didn't do the protein?
For sure.
And that kind of causes you to want to get back into it.
Exactly, yep.
So let's take a look here at what some typical foods have. Something like white meat chicken or white fish has 27 grams for every 4 ounces. Now, most people think that steak has the most protein of anything. Well, it actually doesn't, and I'll tell you why. Steak is more fat than the other leaner meats, and if you think about a piece of steak versus a piece of chicken, if the steak has all that fat, it has to have less protein because some of that mass of the steak is being taken up by the fat. So steak, ounce for ounce, actually has less protein than fish and chicken. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. A cup of 0% fat Greek yogurt has 23 grams. A cup of standard yogurt only has 14. So if you're going to go with yogurt, the Greek is the best bet. In egg, people tend to think eggs are really loaded in protein. They actually only have 7 grams each, which is okay, but you might need to eat more than one to get a significant amount. A quarter cup of nuts, 5 grams. Which, it can add up, but you can't go crazy with the nuts. It's all too easy to, So, a scoop of protein powder. I know Heidi is a fan.
Oh yes, very big fan.
Sometimes she's even done the 2 scoops.
Yep.
So, and I suggest that too, just because if I'm gonna get my blender all dirty and I hate doing dishes, why not have more protein? I mean, it makes sense to me.
Get it done.
A cup of milk is 8. So it's not always easy to rack up all the protein, but it definitely can be done with a little bit of conscious effort. The key is to either increase the portion size of only the protein-containing foods in your diet, or you can add protein-containing snacks. So you don't want to just eat more food in general. You want to pick and choose the protein foods and up those, but don't start increasing everything, or that will just cause weight gain. So here's an example of a standard day that you might have. Breakfast, 2 eggs plus 4 egg whites made with spinach and tomato, a snack of Greek yogurt, and an apple. Lunch can be a salad with nuts, maybe some tuna fish, another snack of a protein shake. Dinner, maybe some pork chops with some red potatoes and broccoli. So at that point, it sounds like a lot of food, but it's all really healthy and it's low in calories. So if you eat that way, you're not gonna go hungry and you're gonna drop weight very quickly if that's what you need to do. So you can see it's totally possible to get sufficient protein as long as you make it a point to consume some at every meal. It just takes a little planning and focus. You will be rewarded by greater strength, an easier time losing weight, and steadier hunger and energy levels throughout the day. So in your years of all the working out, have you found that the protein is like a common theme of how you're doing with everything?
Absolutely. I think it definitely, the energy thing is a huge one.
Do you have any little tips for us, like ways to make the shakes more yummy?
I like to put a little bit of peanut butter in mine, just a little bit, not too much.
Okay, are you sure it's not too much?
Yes, I promise it's not too much. And a little bit of yogurt, flavored yogurt, just helps.
Because Heidi is like a little more of a foodie than I am. Like, I'm really bad. I eat like ridiculous things that normal people would not. Like, she actually makes things that taste good, so she's the one to ask.
Yeah.
What about your lunches and dinners? Like, what do you?
I try to be, because work is so crazy, I try to be prepared. So I'll do a salad with chicken, That's usually the easiest thing, or just leftovers, a leftover stir fry with lots of veggies, not too much junk in it. My favorite, as you know, is grilled tuna steak. I love grilled tuna.
We're grilled tuna stick
Yeah,
addicts.
yes, with a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of ginger, maybe some garlic.
It's still swimming when we eat it.
Yes, but it has to be swimming. So that, and I really try not to snack too much. Sometimes I have to. Almonds are kind of my go-to, especially at work if it's crazy. But I try to, after dinner, that's it, no more.
Good.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have a handle on it.
I'm trying.
And she's also helping with 2 little kids.
Yes.
So, and it's an ongoing battle, so she's trying to get them to start
They
eating.
don't eat at all. My little almost step kids, they don't eat very well. So I feed them protein shakes too, which they fall for it. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Any way we can trick the kids to eating healthy is
Yes.
a win-win for me.
Exactly.
Well, thanks guys for watching. We'll see you next time.